I'm glad to hear that. Well, welcome to the third session of the power of your subconscious mind. Last week, I discussed a law that is true in nature, in the social realm, and in the spiritual realm as well. What we think we will attract to ourselves, because thought is an electromagnetic force. There are certain people who can affect physical objects just with the force of their thoughts. We too affect our environment with our thoughts. We think good, and good comes into our lives. Think evil, disease, disharmony, watch out. Lack, they'll follow you too. All the great insights, scientific breakthroughs, the important events, and the important inventions, rather, have come through the subconscious mind. I talked about some important ways to program the subconscious mind. Now, what have I repeated over and over and over? And that is watch
What you say, what you think.
exactly. What? Watch your thoughts.
Watch your thoughts.
Yes. Reverse the negatives how far?
Say that again?
Reverse the negatives 180 degrees. Okay. And so that's been your homework for the last couple of classes. Now, last week I suggested you sit in a comfortable chair, if you can, several times a day, certainly morning and night, for a few minutes just, and you do a little bit of deep breathing to the count of 3 in and to the count of 6 out. This slows down the body and begins to release the tensions in the body, and maybe you get just a little bit drowsy, and the conscious mind is just put into a more neutral space. And then when you're feeling completely relaxed, you use an affirmative statement to make suggestions to the subconscious mind. Now, do you remember the definition of an affirmation?
The definition.
Yeah. How would you describe an affirmation?
I would describe it as an uplifting statement that could be used like as a mantra.
Uh-huh. Okay. What do you think, Phil? Okay. It's just a brief, clear sentence about something positive that you want to achieve or have come forth in your life. You want the subconscious mind to act on it. And whether it happens to be losing weight or being more patient or thinking before you speak, whatever it might be, the subconscious mind, when you're in this relaxed, kind of drowsy, a little bit drowsy state, it can work on that, or it can work on a physical problem, a financial one, something that's work-related, interpersonal relationships, you name it. The subconscious mind can begin to absorb that idea. Now, what do we need to do while we're saying affirmations? You remember? Feeling. The feeling has to accompany good feeling, a happy expectation. It certainly is important to attach that feeling because it's the driving force really behind subconscious mind programming. Now, I talked to you about the 2 times a day that the subconscious mind is most open to suggestion. Do you remember anything about that?
When you wake up and fall asleep.
That's exactly right. You got that 100% on sleep, going to sleep and on awakening. So use those 2 times because you're not doing anything else. Goodness knows, you're not working, worrying about stuff. You're just getting ready to go to bed and waking up. Now, I suggested that you use phrases like, I feel terrific, wonderful things are happening to me today. And I suggested that you use those affirmations many times a day. Still another suggestion was that you use affirmative statements during the day when your hands are occupied, but your brain is not, like, oh, when you comb your hair, or when you drive, or when you wash the dishes, or brush your teeth, you're doing it automatically. That's a good time to start saying these phrases in your head. Now, last week I suggested that you say to yourself, I use terrific, I feel terrific, I feel terrific, or wonderful things are happening to me today. And watch out, they're going to be bubbling forth. You were going to say these two affirmations a number of times a day, as many times as you could. When you go to the bathroom, when you have to go and get a glass of water, and you can find the times, believe me. I feel terrific. Wonderful things are happening today. Another suggestion, I already said that. One of the important things that we're going to be doing in this class is actually changing our brains. The brain is composed of neural pathways. Our neural pathways are made up of old, well-established paths in our minds, paths of thinking, how to do things. We do them automatically. When we start the process of changing any thinking especially that is negative or limiting, what we're actually doing is changing the neural pathways in our brain. We create dynamic new pathways every time we learn something new, for instance. We notice then that old, negative, frightening thoughts are coming up in our minds, and what we do is we replace them with new, positive, self-affirmative spiritual truths. Truths about ourselves, or truths in general, either way. But we transform how our brains work as we do this. It's like learning anything, though. At first, it takes some effort. You have to put some effort in it. But the more you use these new neural pathways, the new way of thinking, the stronger, the more easily, more automatically you think and act in positive ways that you want to act. You've been practicing them over the past few weeks, and more and more you need to make the effort in that direction. And hopefully it will, things during the day might remind you of that, but perhaps it'll just bubble up in your head and then you'll do it. And it all helps. It all helps. What's needed is persistence. In other words, with consistent practice, you'll physically change your brain as well as your life. It'll change the subconscious mind. It will start creating, wonderful conditions, attracting to you people who are capable and helpful and supportive, and it'll make greater success positive to you and available to you, so much more quickly than before. If challenges do come, though, you're going to find the patience and the strength, creativity within you to solve or move past these challenges. And the subconscious mind can help with anything and everything. Last week, I talked about how people have always intuitively believed that there was a healing power that was available to them. They thought that only special people, special places, special things had it. But of course, we all have that. This works only to the degree that people believe. If you believe that this can change, then watch out. It can change. But what we're actually doing is changing the subconscious mind. So were you helpful, or you were aware of catching negative thoughts?
Yes.
How about it?
Yeah.
Good, excellent. And did you reverse them? Did you turn, oh, I'm hearing you saying something to yourself, and it's negative. Can you, or did you, reverse what you said?
Yes, I've
That's-
been doing that for a while, so this whole process has been very cathartic, just to remind me, again, because it does, the things that you're saying ring true to me. I think the thing that I missed this week was to focus my affirmation. I'm so in the habit of doing a gratitude affirmation.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning and I'm grateful, and grateful stays with you when you do. But I kind of, and I did have, I had the Sunday service, and so I was, my affirmation was, it's going to be fine.
Understandable.
Yeah. So I think it's really true. I would have liked to have been a little bit busier in my day doing that. I'm good at doing it when I'm driving. That's a good
Yeah.
time to, click in. And I'm really good. I used to have a problem waking up in the morning with an oh no feeling. And so the teachings here really promoted a better morning for me. In fact, I get up earlier than I used to, and I think it's just because I'm a little better trained at facing the day.
Good, excellent. Now, Phil, you're going to be taking that special exam. That is a perfect place to use this idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And have you caught yourself and transformed those statements that you're making to yourself about, no, this is not so, and I believe this, or this is true?
Not as much as I like to.
Keep at it.
Yeah.
Keep at it. Keep at it. It only works when we work it.
Yeah.
When is the test?
They offer it several times a year.
Okay. So certainly these two affirmations that I just mentioned about feeling terrific and having wonderful things to experience during that day are designed really to show you how your words, when they're said with enthusiasm, that's the powerhouse behind the affirmations. Said with enthusiasm, they impact your energy levels and your experiences. Now, does anybody ever say them out loud? Because out loud is good if you happen to be by yourself, like in the car. You're saying them out loud. Can you think about the possibility of doing that, reminding yourself when you're in the car
Yeah.
to
plenty of
say
time
those?
in the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's got to go someplace almost every day.
Yeah.
And so that's an ideal place to do it.
Right.
It really is. Again, with enthusiasm, really put the feeling in there. It's not just a mechanical thing, it's with enthusiasm. Because then an affirmation will have 2 or 3 or 4 times the impact on the subconscious mind as saying it just silently, believe it or not. And also, believe it or not, if you say it and smile at the same time, again, it is much more powerful because smiling releases endorphins into the bloodstream. So the good feelings begin to come forth automatically. Above all, if you're having some kind of difficulty in your life, do not blame it on other people or circumstances or heredity or anything else. you can change that condition with the help of the subconscious. So how do you change the subconscious? I'm going to be asking you this. How? You've answered it once, so I know you know it. How do you change the subconscious mind?
You talk to it and train it.
How about it, Phil?
What?
Uh,
Sorry.
Okay, I'm repeating the question so that you will say it twice, maybe 3 times,
Yeah,
then that will remind you, and that'll help it stay in your mind
Train.
that this is what you want, that how to do it. So how do you change the subconscious mind?
you talk to it,
Yeah?
Yeah.
You change your thoughts.
you change your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Change your thoughts,
Exactly.
change your mind.
How do you make yourself believe in, I guess, the thoughts?
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
How
it's
you-
hard for me
to do that.
to do that.
But
Yeah.
these habits,
Habits.
these affirmations and these habits are like they're exercises to give you to train your mind, your brain
To believe it,
to
yeah,
believe
that's
it,
exactly.
Yeah,
That's the whole reason for affirmations. You might not feel that it's true at first, but you keep repeating and repeating and repeating, and it gets into you.
yeah,
You do
When it
begin to-
changes the way you feel, then it's the practice just becomes like a love. It's just not like something that you're trying to do. It's something that you are.
yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna be taking this test sometime this year, and start now and say, I feel great about this test, I'm gonna just nail it. And the more you say that, the better you're gonna feel about it, and the better it's gonna work out for you.
yeah.
Absolutely. This week, I'm going to briefly touch on how the power of the subconscious mind has been used in the past. Then I'll go on to further ways to program the subconscious mind, because just changing your thinking 180 degrees is not all the ways that we can do this. There are many different ways, very useful ways. The area that's, of course, been the most often used has been in the realm of health and healing. Humankind has always known that there was this healing power that was available to us. I mean, even when you're not a believer, if something really bad comes up, you might find yourself praying or affirming or something like that. But there's just, we believe something is greater than we are, and through this power, this greater power, then ailing and injured bodies and minds can certainly be returned to good health. Generally, the power is thought to be the exclusive property of a certain kind of gifted person. Sometimes the ability would be taught so that a student would go and live and study with a wise man or a shaman, a yogi. Sometimes it was thought that very deeply religious people had the power automatically to heal, which isn't the case. When people have had a near-death experience, for instance, sometimes they acquire this gift. And many years ago, there was a movie called Resurrection, and Ellen Burstyn was the chief person in the movie, and it was about this same theme. So it isn't unknown. Now, methods of healing can be very simple. Jesus just said, take up thy bed and walk. Boom, he got up and we walked. Sometimes the method is a great deal more complex, like when you have people lay their hands on you, or praying in a certain way, dancing, rituals. Sometimes fasting precedes it, chanting, amulets, talismans, relics, potions, drugs. it can be dressed in so many different costumes, if you wish, how the healing comes about, how it impacts the subconscious. No matter how it comes about, what method is used, it affects what I identified last week as the filter. The filter is the tissue of beliefs and attitudes that can be an open sesame passage to the subconscious mind or a barrier, depending. If your belief system includes the belief in this holy person or this act doing this certain thing, dieting in a certain way, for instance, or this substance is going to cure you, it's going to help you, then again, the belief powerfully affects the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind does the healing. Do you remember Jesus said many times, do you believe? And that was essential. Now, he could do, says the Mark, he could do no mighty things in his own hometown, except that he laid his hands on a couple of people and healed them. But they couldn't believe that this person, whom they knew him, his mother, his sisters, his brothers, they mentioned that. No, how could he possibly heal anybody? And he couldn't. Only believe. Now, that, by the way, is in Mark 6:1-6, if you're interested in looking it up. It's the belief of the sick person in conjunction with an anticipation. Oh, it's going to change. I can get well. There is the anticipation, the positive feeling. And watch out, the healing will take place. When this method is strange or mysterious, or the healer is a famous one, as Jesus was a very famous healer, and others have been, our vivid imagination is brought into play, and watch out, people get well. I once went on a trip to Spain and Portugal, and the first stop was at an island called Las Palmas. It's the capital of the Canary Islands, actually. They're a group of islands off the northwest coast of Africa, and they belong to Spain. During the visit, they took us inland to a very famous shrine that was there. It was a medium-sized, old Catholic church sitting in the middle of a small village and surrounded by these beautiful rolling hills. And we were taken through a side door close to the back of the church. And there was a stone staircase up to an area that was like a balcony, one floor above and behind the altar. So you could look down from this balcony and see the altar and all the congregants who might be there. Now, the walls of the staircase, all the way up, were covered with crutches and canes, plaster casts of heads, arms, hands, feet, so forth. We got to the top of the stairs, and we approached this small statue of Mary and the baby Jesus, and the clothing that were on these statues were, and by the way, this was poised on the edge of the balcony so that it was visible to the whole congregation. But the clothing on these statues was dressed in clothing that was studded, stiff, with jewels. They took us to a medium-sized room, and on one side of the balcony, and we just went past the statue and over to this room, and it had glass cases all around the walls, plus several of these glass cases in the middle of the room, and their shelves were filled with gold and silver vases, trays, goblets, boxes of jewelry, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, rings of diamond and emeralds and rubies and sapphires and on and on. It was a dazzling array that these things, all these very valuable things, had been sent as thank you gifts for the healings that had taken place. Now, there was a huge golden bowl with figures carved all the way around it, which had come from the daughter of Generalissimo Franco. Now, Franco was a terrible man who controlled Spain through killing people, pretty much. But his daughter's husband was very ill, and she was fearful that he would die. But he came to the shrine and prayed to the Virgin, and her husband was cured. Hence this beautiful golden bowl. Now, don't you think that all those plaster heads and arms and hands and feet and the beauty of the things that were on that statue and the reputation and the whole mystique of this place fired the imagination, raised the expectation, and changed the belief system from sickness to an anticipation of health? Certainly, if you had some faith, yeah, you think, well, they did it, I can do it too. Virgin Mary will help me. Healings generate healings. It happens consistently. They all have a smashing effect on the subconscious mind. They change the belief, and in turn, that generates healings. Now, Dr. Murphy cites the case of one of his relatives who had an advanced case of tuberculosis. This elderly man's son returned home from Australia, determined he was going to somehow help his father. He told his Catholic father that he had bought a relic of the true cross. It was a very, very expensive thing. It was from a monk that he'd met. But actually, he just picked up a little piece of wood from the sidewalk, and he took it to a jeweler and had it set in a ring with a glass top. And he just generated such excitement in the old man when he told him how many people had been cured by holding this piece of the cross inside the ring. And the old man got so fired up with imagination of the possibilities from this piece of the true cross that the old gentleman took the ring and put it on his chest rather, and prayed, and he went to sleep, and he woke up the next morning cured. Yeah. The father never learned the trick that the son had played on him, and he lived another 15 years in good health. Now, if he had doubted, remember that story about the man who kept coming back, it was a better version of the drug, and he had such faith, and he came back, and then when it proved to be useless, he died. Same thing would have happened, but this man did not doubt. Now, what do we learn from this? Subconscious mind is able to heal the body, obviously. It can restore it in full health, whole, because it taps a universal energy, and that energy is all around us and within us, and we call that energy God. It hooks up and draws from omnipotent power, omnipotent presence, omnipotent love, omnipotent good. That's what it's drawing from. It focuses, that is, the subconscious mind does, on the life energy, and the person is made whole. Some people need the outer accoutrements, all They're impressed with this very solemn ritual or very unusual ritual or an imposing ceremony, or perhaps it happens in a great big huge church, or a strong personality, a person with a strong personality insists that this can be and will be done. But the belief is established within, and watch out, good comes forth. These things help many people, but they're not necessary. No, we can employ this power. We can use this power, each of us, consciously and methodically. We can believe, and it will be forthcoming. But let Jesus tell us exactly how to do this. It's in Mark, the 11th chapter. What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Ye shall have them. That's not idle words. That's a promise. That's an assurance. Now, this brings us to yet another technique for positively influencing and programming the subconscious mind. And as before, you would sit down, maybe do some deep breathing, consciously get the body to relax and be peaceful. At this point, you use or you engage the creative imagination. You make a mental movie, and you see yourself experiencing the desired end. You see yourself saying to your wife, I passed it with fine colors. You see yourself perhaps speaking to your children and say, I've gotten this wonderful new increase in pay. And yeah, it can happen. It will happen. Now, this is suggestion number 6, and I have a list of these suggestions that I'm going to be telling you about right now, so you don't have to try to write them down. You see yourself in perfect health. You experience the desired end. Yeah, I can take a walk, I can go hiking. Yeah, sure, let's go dancing tonight. See yourself in that mental movie. Now, do you have a wart someplace? Imagine yourself showing the spot where the wart was and saying to somebody else, see, it's completely gone. It's absolutely gone. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. See yourself. Play the, oh, that's my phone. Well, it'll just have to. So you feel pleasure, you feel excitement. You see the enthused smile of that other person that you're talking to. And the fired imagination, the exciting, the affirmative, joyous visual image that you've made for yourself, that the subconscious mind receives so fully and responds to. Jesus' words, believe that you've received and you shall receive. That means feel it, rejoice in it, visualize it, make it real, realer than real. Now, do this 2 or 3 times a day, and certainly as you go to sleep at night, and you shall receive. Then that's a suggestion number 6, and I've got a number more now. Our imaging faculty is remarkable within us, our imaging faculty. You know that the body and the subconscious mind do not know the difference between reality and what is vividly imagined. It's one and the same thing. If you vividly imagine eating a lemon, your mouth will pucker up and the taste buds will provide the appropriate saliva. Visualize, feel. Vividly imagine a bitter argument that you might have had with somebody. And again, your whole body will become tense, your blood pressure will go up, you'll feel that anger within you, all that flight or fight will flow into your bloodstream. That's why it's so important not to get into the broken record syndrome where you go over it in your mind and over, because you're rousing the body all over again and feeling it all over again and programming your subconscious mind all over again. Now, when you go to a movie or look at TV, your body is busy reacting as though you were right there. You're reacting to what you see. All the tensions, the increase in perspiration, heart action, blood pressure, the whole thing takes place. Now, have you ever found yourself just shaking because the movie was so full of suspense? Now, and there are people who really enjoy horror movies. They really do. I don't quite understand this, but it affects their bodies and their subconscious. Now, we're told by Aristotle that if you imitate a virtue, after a while, it's going to be yours. Imitate a virtue. So first you imitate that virtue. You can imitate a skill or a talent. In your mind's eye, you're doing that thing, even if it's been a challenge to you. You see yourself doing it. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, got it done, no problem. And it will find its way into your abilities, into a routine expectation of its being easily done. Visualize the end result. And the desire to do that thing, have that thing, is going to be fulfilled. Now, you mentioned it, Pam, but number 7 is thank you. Gratitude and thanksgiving. That's a very important technique. Make it a habit to find 3 or more things good that happen during the day. You will find them, absolutely. Generate that uplifting feeling of gratitude that these things took place, and appreciate some certain person's help, or maybe they calmed down, they didn't react too badly to some bad news, whatever. But after you give thanks, it is an easier step that a desired object or situation is going to take part in our lives. It's going to appear. We can't see it yet, not yet, but give thanks for it. Jesus gave thanks in advance, certainly, before he fed the 5,000. He broke the bread, he blessed it, and he certainly knew that this miracle would take place, or else he'd have egg all over his face, and he did not. St. Paul recommends this method. He says, in all things give thanks. All. Jesus said, thou hearest me always, when he stood before the grave of Lazarus and brought him forth. So he gave thanks. Thou hearest me always, an affirmation. He knew that it was going to happen because he had that connection. He had that habit. He was absolutely assured. A prayer of gratitude, a thankful heart, expresses blessings, or it attracts blessings. The good feeling that thanksgiving generates in a person, that just attracts more good reasons for thanksgiving. Now, Jesus spoke about this. It's very important not to use vain repetition. What does that mean? He warned us about that in the Sermon on the Mount. That's the book of Matthew. You never use empty words. You don't just say words that really you can't find a reason to believe within yourself. You state spiritual truths about yourself. Health is the truth of your body. That's exactly right. It's abnormal to be unhealthy. Harmony and peace are universal symbols. The life within me and you is God life. And God life doesn't take a power, doesn't disappear. It's always there. You should be expressing all that good, all of it. No matter what techniques you're using, you're actually removing an erroneous belief in the subconscious mind that has manifested in your experience, and you're replacing it with the truth of your being. We need to state the spiritual truth of ourselves. Doesn't matter what the appearance in our lives might be. That changes. When our beliefs change, the appearance changes. You ignore what the subconscious mind has already brought forth. That isn't the truth of you. You know it can and will be expressed for you in a totally different appearance, a totally different feeling, a totally different good, because you were changing that programming, that mistake that was going on in your head, in your thinking. And some additional ideas that need to be remembered. Only use positive statements. Used to be that they would say negative, that's denials. This is not going to happen, etc. But we don't do that anymore. The subconscious mind doesn't understand no. It does. You don't say, I am not sick. You say, I am well. Yeah. Denials are simply not as effective, if they were ever as effective, as clear affirmative statements. So we say positive statements without no's in them. Secondly, don't fear that the subconscious mind is ever going to use a negative way to achieve the ends you desire. It doesn't do that. You might need $10,000, but your mother is not going to die so that you can have her insurance. That's not going to happen. It's going to choose a positive way to bring about what you need, what you desire. Next, coach your statement as though it already happened. Already. In the subconscious mind, there is no past or future. There is only now. Like in God, there's only now. If you say, I'm getting $500, you're not going to get it. Because a generalized statement about I'm going to get is no help. Because someday is never a part of the way the subconscious mind works. Doesn't know past and future. If you say, I have money, I have all the money I need and to spare, who knows, you could get $10,000 for that matter. Or say, by June 1, I have $500 in the bank. This is taking the time away from it, out of it. Subconscious mind moves and acts in absolutes. Its work is to change energy into form, and it works in a realm where there is no time, there is no space, there is only now. You keep that in mind. It's got to be now that you're going to re-let that, experience it. Subconscious mind is unlimited. You can work on as many goals you wish, but you might want to focus on the most important ones, because your time and your energy and your attention is limited. Subconscious mind isn't, but you are. What are the most important ones to work on? And again, and you can't say this with as much emotion. You must say this with as much emotion as you possibly can. Emotion, feelings, happy anticipation, certainty, but good feelings. And we can all generate good feelings. We think about some good thing that happened to us, and we feel that warmth within. Use that. Use that. It's the engine of the subconscious mind. Gradually, we begin to realize and recognize that the universe was built on a plan. There was a divine idea behind the creation of the universe, behind the Big Bang. Everything in life is organized and created according to a plan. Everything. Engineers have blueprints. Doctors have certain established healing regimens or protocols. Chemists have formulas. Lawyers have precedents. There are internal laws to everything. DNA is the blueprint of your body. There are methods, there are plans and techniques that really are effective in every sector of our lives, or everything we know about. There are also methods for praying scientifically. And prayer is part of the plan. Nothing happens by chance. If a prayer is answered, there's a reason for it. A very positive reason. And that reason is that a certain plan, a certain method was used. Prayer is, some people have described it as the soul's sincere desire. You want that person to get well. You've thought of prayer was as just being talking to God and asking for things. It might be praise or thanksgiving or affirmation or petition, whatever. But true prayer takes place every time we have a deep desire. We have a feeling. And the feeling nature is brought fully into play. Somebody you love is unwell. Your feelings, your sincere desire, and the thought of their healing is the most valuable thing you can do, the most important thing you can do. Most of us are fortunate that we rarely deeply or desperately want something. Most of our basic needs are actually taken care of, and the things that we want are generally surface desires. But a man once told his minister, "I never knew the depths of the desire until the day my doctor told me, you have a malignancy." Then he knew what desire was. That was the day he wanted something passionately, more passionately than any other feeling he'd had in his life. But even our less urgent desires are worthy. They're important. Most of us desire peace of mind, harmony, health, a sense of pleasure, enjoyment, fulfillment, success in life. We want these things. And that's absolutely appropriate and correct. And there's a force that's on the job 24 hours a day seeking to bring these things into our lives. One of the most important things to keep in mind is that any imbalance, any disharmony, illness, lack of a sense of peace or abundance is a frustration of a natural law of balance and harmony, which is what God is, and God is everywhere. When we seek to reestablish wholeness or balance, whatever area of our lives have need for that, we have the whole force of nature and divine law behind us in our efforts. Imbalance dissipates with ease because it is in fact a non-state. Someone that came to our church many years ago, he and his wife, and they moved away, and sometime after, long after they left here, I heard that he committed suicide. And it really made me feel so bad because had he come and spoken about the depression that he was feeling so much at the time, I think that through prayer, through work, it could have been dissipated. An unnecessary death. He was a lovely guy. Imbalance dissipates with ease because it is in fact a non-state. It has no basis in divine reality. Yes, it has a temporary basis in human reality, but that isn't the truth. That's not the truth. Truth is eternal. Imbalance is temporary. It's a transient frustration of the natural state of things. It's like one of those things, you see them along the road sometimes where they're flapping over and they come right back up.
Water.
Huh?
Water.
No, it's a thin kind of like a bozo clown, I don't know. Anyway, it's designed to attract your attention because it is moving.
Oh, okay.
Those
And-
tubes with the air flowing through them.
Yes, exactly.
Dancing.
Yeah, exactly, right. You knock it down and it reverts to its original state. That's, air comes back in and it is straight again. Same thing. Any negative appearance, any lack of harmony can disappear. And you can become erect again, full of energy, positive thoughts and feelings. Balance returns with ease once we remove that transient, that weak cause of its not manifesting. These are not profound things, these negative feelings or negative thoughts, fearful things. They are non-things. We were created to express life grandly and nobly. There is that within us that always seeks to move out and to rise and to grow, to advance, to go to greater heights. Always. That's within you, for certain. The natural proclivity is often diminished by our beliefs. We believe and frustrate ourselves, our lives. Beliefs that we can do wonderful things sometimes are completely negated, but it's by this state of thought, state of belief, and it's temporary. It needn't be there, but still, impulses come floating up to the conscious level, always nudging the conscious mind to, oh yeah, how about this? And this happened before. And I know somebody whom this happened. Did you hear about whatever, something happened to somebody? But instead of that, the message of greatness is all within us. We have to believe in that. I am a great human being made in God's image and experiencing the best in life, profoundly helpful to life, a gift to life. So, whenever we say anything that might be contrary to that, contrary to perfect fulfillment and a blessing to other people and a force that has made life better right where we are. And it has to be dissipated, it has to be negated, erased. Those messages sometimes are so quiet, so insidious in our minds. We don't really realize they're going on unless we listen. Listen closely and change them 180 degrees, they can leave. they will be, and our experience will be different. Now, this is homework and reminders. One for you, and one for Phil, and one to take home to Jana.
Okay.
Okay. So, number 6 was run a mental movie. See yourself doing it, being it, having it. Make it real to yourself. Just, again, when you sit still and do some breathing exercises just to relax the body, that can happen and easily make a mental movie. 7 is give thanks in advance, as Jesus did. Generate gratitude. Thank you, Father, for this happening and feeling good about it. Make affirmations kind of short, even a single word, so that they're easily said. Now you can make long affirmations. Yeah, there are some real long affirmations in Dr. Murphy's book, but short is easier and can be done more readily. No vain repetition. You pronounce the spiritual truth of yourself. Being ill is not the spiritual truth of you. It's not what God intended. Health is the truth of your body. It's your natural state. 10 is use only positive statement because the subconscious doesn't know, don't, or won't, or doesn't hear that. Just state it in a positive way, whatever you want. I'm getting XYZ in the next few days. Oh, no. Promptly. I've already got XYZ. That's the way to do it. The subconscious mind uses only positive ways to respond. It will not respond through a negative way. Coach the statement as though it's already happened. That's really connected with not saying no. Couch the statement as if it's already happened, because there isn't any past or future in the subconscious, there's just now. I've gotten XYZ, or I've succeeded in XYZ, or XYZ happened to me, and what a wonderful thing, how grateful I am. Subconscious is unlimited, but we are not. So you focus on the most important goals you've got. And once you achieve them, then you could go to other things that are not as important in your life. But over and over and over again, we have to use the feelings. Generate that positive feeling. Any questions? Comments? I'm going to keep asking you, how do you program your subconscious mind? I'm going to keep it on, keeping on, because once you know the answer to that, it will stay in mind.
And it really does boost once it starts happening for you. It really does teach you to keep doing it.
Right, a success breeds success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started with that, I think.
Yes, that's exactly
Yeah.
right, yeah. Affirm that you're going to find the parking place, and lo and behold, the parking place is there. And you get this good feeling. God, it worked. It worked real good. And that encourages more and more of the same.
I think it's especially beneficial. I can't imagine there's anybody like this, but if you've been in a place in your life where you just have a tendency to start your day poorly, or when you shut it down, things rush into your head. Things just like, oh, I wish I wasn't like that. I wish I hadn't said that. I'm useless. Just that kind of feeling. This technique, training your subconscious mind, is just so valuable because I guess when you talk about it, it might sound kind of like hocus pocus, but it really recreates you in a better, more functional way. It does. It recreates you. So
Yes,
I just think,
it becomes a permanent part of your thinking, which
Yeah.
is wonderful.
and I do think classes like this and conversations like this in our church or elsewhere are really helpful because sometimes we just, with all the stuff going on in your life or maybe in the world, it feels
Absolutely.
it feels overwhelming sometimes, and this puts the balance back in
Mhm.
yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can pray for the whole world.
Yeah.
You only have control of yourself.
Yeah. Right. You can only change yourself, so why not do it?
Exactly. Change
Yeah.
yourself, change your life. Okay, anything, any questions? This reminders, try them all and see what is most comfortable for you and what you do more easily and enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
I
you
thank
very
you
much.
for being here. I couldn't have done it without your being here.
Good class.